Hi everyone, back on my phone, still having problems with this Facebook computer system, so let's see how it goes today. I'll give it a couple of moments to see if anyone's going to join me this morning. It's another beautiful day. I'm so lucky to have this conservatory, which is where I teach my yoga classes. If I'm working one-to-one, but that's the dog. And of course at the moment all my classes are over Zoom, so this is where I do that. I've been talking a lot recently about slowing down, about being, not doing, and let's see if I can change the light, improve the light a little bit. I received an email today from a yoga teacher yesterday from a yoga teacher who I enormously admire, who is using the same online marketing approaches as many others, but her yoga, like mine, is slow, it's internal, it's gentle. And she emailed, hi to the people who've just joined. I was just saying that I received an email yesterday from a yoga teacher who I admire, talking about rest. And again, everything I say on this subject comes with the caveat that I know there are many people out there who are not in a position to be resting as much as they would like to at the moment. But there are also many of us for whom life has slowed down. And I'm going to share a link to the blog under this post. The blog she wrote was all about the different ways of resting, and I found it really helpful because I have found I may come across in these meditations and in my classes as being very calm, but my natural tendency is to be busy and stressed, and it was that natural tendency that resulted in me getting ill 7 years ago, which is why I ended up changing my life and becoming a yoga teacher. So even in this situation, I find it's very easy for me to constantly trying to be doing. But what I've also realised is that some of the things that I am doing are actually being. They are actually forms of rest. And this was really helpful. So I'm going to share, as I say, the blog underneath. But a really good example is our daily exercise. So if you choose for your daily exercise to be running around the streets, pounding the pavements, and if that's something that works for you, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but if that's what you choose, then that is not restful. If you're looking to bring more rest into your life, you can take your daily exercise by walking. If you're in a position to walk in nature, then wonderful, and I'm lucky enough, privileged enough to live in a beautiful part of the countryside with access to the country from my front door, or a few minutes walk. So walking in nature, becoming aware of the trees, of the birds, of the wildlife around, of the beautiful spring flowers that we're seeing all around us at the moment. When you do that, that process of walking becomes being rather than doing. And there are plenty of other things that we can do. Just take a little bit of time, 15-20 minutes here or there. It's exactly what you're doing now by choosing to join me for 15 minutes this morning, or whenever you're watching this, to stop. So for me, this particular blog was really helpful at reminding me that some of the things that I'm already doing are actually resting. And splitting our day, how much time are we doing, how much time are we being? Again, if you're in a position that you're not working a normal working day, whether that's at home or outside. But even if you are, and I've mentioned this before, if you are used to working a working day with a commute and you're now working that same working day, be careful that you don't simply start subsuming the commute time into your working day. I've been there. In my previous life, that's exactly what I did. I worked from home, and therefore I felt that I ought to be working 2 hours longer than everybody who had an hour-long commute. If your working day is from 9 to 5 or whatever it may be, don't overdo it. Allow that commute time to be time that you use for other things. And again, I'm conscious all the time that there may be people watching who don't have the luxury of making these choices, but even choosing how you do the things you have to do can help you to come in, to be still, to be rather than to do. Washing the dishes mindfully is a very different experience from washing the dishes with resentment and irritation. But for now, you have taken this time to stop, to join me, for which I'm very grateful. So I invite you to come in, to find your feet, however you're sitting, feeling your feet connecting to the ground, whether you're on the ground or a chair. Let your feet feel the surface beneath them. Let gravity rest your feet, whether it's the soles of your feet, the sides, the tops of your feet. Let gravity rest your feet into the ground until you start to feel a sense of connection or engagement with the legs. And if you don't, that's fine too. Just imagine it. Anticipate that one day you will. And let your sitting bones rest down where you are. If you're on the floor, you may find it helpful to adjust your sitting bones, your hips a little, to find that point of connection, so that your feet and your sitting bones become the connection points at either end of your legs. Your legs are maybe a little awake and alive, and that process allows the spine to release a little. So we're no longer holding ourselves up from our shoulders. Our spine is freer, able to lift, the shoulders can relax and release. Maybe your arms will decide they want to be in a slightly different position. And maybe your head can simply rest on your spine without having to be held anywhere. And as always, simply turn your attention to your own breath. And let the snoring of the dog take you deeper into that breath, that sound of your own breath. Allowing everything around you simply to be. And by focusing on our breath, we bring our awareness back into our body. And when our awareness is in our body, it gives our mind a chance to still, just for a moment. And as you watch your breath coming and going, notice how it's coming today. Notice whether it's deep or shallow, long or short, whether it feels smooth or jagged. And if none of those words make any sense to you in connection with your breath, then just let them go and simply notice where in your body you're most aware of it. And when your mind goes off, as it always will, notice where it's gone and bring your awareness back to your body with kindness. And as you bring it back to your body, notice what's going on there. Have you lost that sense of connection through your feet? As your spine may be slumped a little. Maybe your tongue has risen to the roof of your mouth. And as you release and adjust and connect all these little tiny movements to re-establish that connection to the feet, to the sitting bones, you may find it helpful to say to your mind, it's okay, just for now, to stop. And when your mind goes off at a tangent again, into the past, into the future, each time that you notice it's happened, gently, kindly, simply release that train of thought and come back to your own breath. Simply noticing the breath coming and going, almost as if you were being breathed, rather than doing it yourself. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for joining me. Whether this is the first of many moments of rest in your day, or the only one you manage to squeeze in, I wish you a peaceful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.